Okay.
Okay, everybody, welcome. Uh, I have here Mark Coella, and he reached out to me on Instagram because he is a professional here in healthcare. And with our channel, we're looking to collaborate and get with people that are professionals in healthcare, patients in healthcare, anybody that's in healthcare, because we have a proposal, we have a goal in mind, a mission in mind, and that's ultimately to lower the costs here uh, for healthcare. There's a lot of things going on. It's kind of unfortunate with the rising unaffordability, but we see that rising unaffordability happening in many industries, not just one industry. So we are keen to it, and we are here to provide some new ways of bringing back affordability without having to go through the state or going through voting. We're going to let these proposals into the market. If the market says yes to it, we test it out, see what results we get, and if not, then ultimately it will not survive anyway if it's not any good. So, welcome, Mark. We appreciate you one reaching out, two and what you're doing. I think this is important. I've been in on some of the energy stuff. What Joe Dispenza is doing is really great. What he's doing, I think it's cool to see the stories. And I would love to learn more about you, and I'm glad to have you on here with us.
Okay. Yeah. Great to be here.
So if you'd like to quickly share, a quick anecdote or quick message as to, kind of who you are, your background, how you got into this, and kind of share what it is that exactly that you do.
Okay. Well, I got into mental health in like 2006. And then in 2008, I wanted to get into being a Reiki master, but it was kind of expensive at the time. So I kind of pushed it off until like 2016 when I started to learn how to do Reiki. And then in 2019, I became a Reiki master and then started my own LLC, wanting to help people. And during COVID, I was able to kind of really get good at distance Reiki, which is just as powerful as hands on or hovering over people with your hands Reiki. It's just as powerful as that from a distance. Like I could send the energy to you right now. You would feel it probably in your body somewhere, like as a heat sensation first, and then maybe the energy would go to where it needs to go from there. And yeah, it's just, I'm just happy to be helping people, and I want to help more people. And I want to get the word out about how I'm helping people with going through cancer treatments. Because I used to volunteer at a local hospital in their infusion center. So people would be getting chemotherapy medication, and I would be offering them Reiki while they're having their infusion. So it would give them some sense of calmness, and it just helps them get through the process of the infusion. So I was like, well, if I can do that, then maybe I can just offer this to the world. Through my website, people can just come out to limitlessreiki.com and they can they could sign up for the free 1 hour session for cancer warriors that are fighting cancer. So, yeah.
Well, very good, very good, very good. Now, what kind of got you into learning how to do this?
I just think it's been a calling for most of my life. Mental health is like you give back when you work in mental health. You're helping people, and I'm really a people type person, and I just can't imagine not being a Reiki master at this point in my life. It's just like a really beautiful line of work where you're just sending out good vibes to people and they're receiving them. It's amazing how the distance Reiki stuff works.
Absolutely. And how long would you say you've been working with people since being a master?
Since 2019, my business started then, and then I've been working with people. I don't work with a lot of people. It's more of like a side job, you might say, or But I want to looking forward to, hopefully that'll be the main source of income going forward, maybe in the next month or so. I just have really high hopes for the distance Reiki to take off because I think I provide quite a service to folks, and maybe the folks that aren't fighting cancer, can jump on board with a paid session with me, and that would help kind of balance things out as far as helping people, and then making a little money myself, so I can halt doing mental health work. It can be draining at times, but I really like it. but I'd like to move on and do other things.
Okay, very nice. And now, of course, before you become a master, you're obviously a student beforehand. So when you were working with people, did you notice, positive translations in your own life, or can you touch on that a bit?
Um, so like things going on in my own life during the time when I was like working as a Reiki practitioner
Yeah, and
kind of
like
stuff.
kind of, yeah, and any of like the fulfillment side or the result side of it, would love to hear kind of how that's changed not only your life, but maybe other people's lives.
Yeah, I was working on a client. I think this was last year in 2020. No, in 2024, I believe it was. And during the session, she said that she felt like she was being elevated off of the table, which I thought was amazing to hear that. Like I don't know where that came from or what that was all about, but to have somebody feel like they were leaving their body during the session and looking, it was just an amazing thing to hear from her. And I also have volunteered at the men's shelter downtown in Cleveland. It's called 2100 Lakeside. I volunteered there before COVID, and I would work on the different homeless folks there, and they would really appreciate the service. And I also worked on staff there as well. So I did a lot of volunteering. I volunteered at a hospice. I volunteered at a nursing college here in town. So the volunteer work is where you really kind of learn how to do the Reiki, and you kind of get some feedback from folks sometimes, which is nice. And sometimes they'll even fall asleep on the table, which is really nice because they're really relaxed enough and they're confident enough in your abilities that they can kind of just let go and take a snoozer.
And for somebody like me, because before we spoke, I'm not too familiar with it. How would you define Reiki in your own words?
It's the universal life force that we can all tap into. Anybody can do Reiki. Just doesn't have to be like a certain kind of person or whatever. Anybody can be trained in it and do well at it. It's just like you're channeling energy from the universal kind of life force, and it goes into the top of your head and into your body and out through your hands. And it's really amazing. I'm glad I got into it. I'm glad I'm doing it, and I just want to do more for people going forward.
Now, when you work with, let's say, cancer patients, is it going to be something that's more healing or maybe something to kind of help them with their stress and their, any mental stress that could be going on? Can you touch on that?
I hope it would help in all regards, like with their stress, which all their I mean it's got to be super stressful going through that. My mom, she went through she had breast cancer. She didn't pass away from breast cancer, but she had it and then they took the tumor out and then she was fine after that, which is, praise God for that. But I'm sorry, I got lost a little bit there. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so um
The lights
oh,
came out in your
the lights came on. They're automatic here. They sit out. But just asking kind of, well, I know you touched on your family having breast cancer because my family dealt with that as well. My aunt had breast cancer twice. She beat it the first round, and she unfortunately didn't make it through the second round. But I know based on my conversations with her that she did everything in her power to obviously get through it.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if this was an avenue that she was real spiritual. And she would try every avenue. She was pretty smart, and I mean, I wish I kind of knew more about it. Ever since I got into this side of the industry, I'm not a medical professional. I'm not keen on terminology or procedures in the industry. So it's great connecting with people like you and the other healthcare professionals that have been coming around the sphere. But ultimately, like, if someone's dealing with cancer and they come to you, that they could find, healing from it or stress relieving stuff from it. So I was like asking back to that point.
Yeah, it helps with all that stuff, stress. it helps just with everything going on with them at the time. I've had, people get a lot out of my sessions more so than I thought I was putting into the session, or channeling the energy. Um, the same person that said she felt levitated off the table, she broke her ankle, and I reached out to her and said I wanted to do a free session with her to just focus on the ankle. And she said her swelling went down the day of the session, and also she didn't have to go through as much physical therapy, or I think she might have like skipped it altogether or something like
Mm,
that. But it was just amazing to hear that kind of feedback from folks. So
that is amazing.
yeah,
That is
yeah.
amazing. Now, you also mentioned to me that you volunteered as a Reiki master at some places. Can you touch on some of the places you volunteered at?
Yeah, yeah, it was the men's shelter downtown Cleveland. I was there for right before COVID, and then when COVID hit, they kicked us out. They kicked all the volunteers out because it was
Mm,
just too much for them to kind of control or whatever. People coming in and out of the shelter, maybe bringing COVID. You never know. So, but after that, I kind of wanted to do distance Reiki with some of the folks at the shelter, but they didn't. I don't know. Sometimes that's a little too far off for people to kind of grasp. So it never really happened after that. But 3 months prior to COVID shutting down stuff in March of 2020, I was at the shelter once a week doing stuff with the men there, and then I volunteered at a hospice, a local hospice here, where basically I worked on the staff. I never got around to working with the hospice patients themselves. It's just something that never kind of came to fruition. But I liked helping the nurses and stuff kind of, have a half hour or 15-minute break where they can get some Reiki and kind of like rejuvenate and recuperate. It's got to be a stressful job working in a hospice. So I was
mm.
glad I was able to help out with that. Yeah.
No, I couldn't imagine. I bet any industry, any position in the healthcare industry is stressful. I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
Now, what compelled you to wanting to offer people fighting cancer a free 1 hour distance Reiki session or even an in-person Reiki session?
Um, I think the free Reiki sessions for the cancer warriors are just something I want to honor my mom and her fight when she had breast cancer, and my mom's passed away.
Mm,
But like I said, she didn't pass away from breast cancer, but still, it kind of I just see people suffering on Instagram. They make the videos in Instagram and Facebook and wherever else social media. They're suffering out there, and it's like, what could I do? I don't have money to give you. Some of them ask, for donations and stuff. I'm not that well off where I can do that, but I can offer free 1 hour session of Reiki with somebody who's dealing with, cancer treatments and all that. I just think, I just been very frustrated trying to get the word out. I feel like, approaching you and you're being able to, open up your channel to other things other than just, health and, medical health insurance. I think it's great what you're doing, and I appreciate what you're doing, and I'm glad we're able to connect and get the word out because I really think it's a need. The Reiki is needed in this world. It just helps so much.
absolutely, and I appreciate you saying that. And I mean, just for my sake too, because I've gone I just hear the stories. I mean, on my channel, it's just there's just so many people bickering back and forth, and then of course the people that we do share that are having hard times, and then the people who don't have hard times who don't understand what it's like to have a hard time, put in their opinion. It's like a mini. I want to call it a war zone, but it's just bickering back and forth. It makes me upset. It's really been making me upset. Um, it's been tough consuming this content over and over and over and over again, and I've been doing it in a manner that it's just overconsumption, just because I'm trying to get as many videos out as possible. I want to build the channel as quickly as possible. I want to get to 100K as quickly as possible, just because the mission is just so important. Because like if you see what's going on in Canada, the socialized healthcare is literally killing people, and people will have to sit in their wait times for years before they get any treatment. And then here in America, if you do go get treated, at least you're being seen right away. But the other problem is if you can't afford the treatment over long periods of time, I mean, I can't speak on it. I haven't been through it, but I haven't seen hospitals throwing people out. But I could only imagine what's going on in those countries that they're just telling them to their MAID program, their assisted suicide program, their program where they're just kind of giving you medication to kill yourself rather than put you through the long-term care. It's just so scary. So scary. And I do not want those systems I mean, they're neighboring us. I don't want those systems and processes here in our land. Um, and it's very important that we get moving quickly so I can get the proposal out. Because I think if I have the market behind us and we have influence and we could easily share information in a matter of seconds to a wide range of people, that they'll take us seriously, that they'll take me seriously. And I have the numbers backed up. Mine's not, I want to touch more information on it, but at the same time, I can't touch on more information until we hit my goal of the 100K, because I'll happily share this. But I also want to go to our higher ups to let them know about the proposal before too much information goes out. Because then if they say no to it, I can come back to you guys and try to find someone else that may be of interest in it. So it is just imperative over here that we get the ball rolling as quickly as possible. Now, I also understand with the Reiki that you also co-host a mental health podcast, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. It's called The Undiagnosed Shamans, and it's on YouTube. I think we have maybe 6 or 7 episodes that we've done. Because I'm what's called a peer recovery supporter in Ohio. So it's somebody with lived experience in mental health. So in my case, it's I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder in 1994, and have been dealing with that more than half my life, I believe now.
Hmm.
Yeah, I really like I think the podcast is really great. We've gotten not a huge you know following, but we have some folks that are into it, and I think we bring up a lot of good points about mental health and the daily struggles and what to do and what not to do, and just how we perceive reality, stuff like that. So it's been a great ride on the Undiagnosed Shamans
Okay, very
so far.
nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Any particular episode or topics that stand out to you that you'd like to share briefly on this call?
Yeah, I think in the last episode we talked about the nature of reality and how I believe it's like a game or a virtual reality kind of situation that we're in. I don't know, that's kind of a far off conspiracy type thing, but I just believe it because we're all connected. That's why the distance Reiki works as well as it does, because we're all hooked up to some kind of, I don't know, what do you want to call it, a mainframe or
Collective
something.
conscious?
Yeah, yeah, collective conscious, exactly. And thank you. And yeah, we're all connected in some regard. So we talk about that a lot, the connection in the on the podcast, and how I feel like we're all kind of one. Yeah.
And where what can you say the name of the podcast one more time?
Yeah, the Undiagnosed Shamans.
And where can people find the podcast? Anywhere
That's on YouTube.
on YouTube
Just on YouTube
specifically?
so far. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Very nice. Now, you also, in our conversations, you talked about the Cleveland Proper Man. Now, who is the Cleveland Proper Man, and can you share more about that?
Yeah, yeah. It's an alter ego of mine. I've been doing these little short kind of videos about a day in the life of Cleveland Proper Man. And basically, he's a superhero, but his superpowers only work in the confines of Cleveland Proper, Ohio. So sometimes you will find him outside of those jurisdictions, and is obviously he's powerless, and you don't really know if he has superpowers or not because he never really displays them so far. I mean, in the episodes that we have done. We've done 4 episodes now. One of them's a two-parter, and he just runs into all these other local superheroes, and they have things going on with them as well. That I think are really funny. I wrote it like 10 years ago. I wrote like 3 or 4 episodes like 10 years, and I was just kind of like showing it to people in the local comedy scene here in
Okay.
Cleveland, and nobody would bite on it until I found the right person, George Jackson Jr. He's a comedian friend of mine. He was like, "Yeah, man, this sounds like something I could get behind." And he's been helping finance the project, and we'd like to connect all of the short videos together at some point when there's a bunch of them that we can do that and maybe have a feature length film out of it. So it's on YouTube as well. It's just Cleveland Proper Man, 3 words, on YouTube. And yeah, we think we've gotten close to 1,000 views with all of the,
Nice.
episodes combined. So yeah, we've been doing it for a few years now. So I'm really excited about it. I don't know if you got a chance to watch any of them yet, but
No, I'll check
probably
it
not.
out.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me earlier through the email about the Cleveland Proper Man, so I didn't get the chance to look it up, but I'm interested. I'll take a look
Yeah, I
here.
think they're funny.
Uh, I mean, I do love the comedy scene I here in Austin with like
Oh yeah, you got the mothership down there.
yeah, the Mothership, Kill Tony. It's taken my interest. It's funny. They have all sorts of people on there. So that'd be cool. And I hear a lot about Ohio. People come from Ohio onto the Mothership. Um, so I guess you guys got your own scene in Ohio as well.
Yeah.
And you're in Cleveland now,
Yeah, yeah.
Cleveland, and
I'm in the suburbs, yeah.
in the suburbs. And then you also
Yeah.
mentioned that the Reiki work is more of a kind of a side work. What's your main work currently?
Like I said earlier, I'm a peer recovery supporter. So I use my lived experience with bipolar disorder to mentor and help other folks with
Okay.
similar diagnosis issue. They might have schizophrenia, they might have bipolar disorder, they might have, generalized anxiety disorder. And I kind of meet with them every couple of weeks, and we meet at coffee shops, and we just kind of talk about lived experiences, and we gain strength in that, like sharing our lived experience with our struggles. So it's like a missing link in the psychiatric community. It's fairly new. Like I've been doing it since 2006, and when I did it then, it was really new. Now it's still kind of new, but it's catching on to more and more mental health agencies, or because you can bill Medicaid, Medicare now um, from that service, where before it was just a grant funded service. So the mental health community has embraced it, and I believe it's like it just completes the circle of care. The psychiatrist, the counselor, the case manager, and now you have a peer recovery supporter that can also help in that regard. So it's a full circle kind of thing. Like I was suffering in their shoes, and now I can kind of like come back and say, hey, I know what that's like, and I've been through that. Whereas like a psychiatrist, they don't usually share their lived
Mm,
experience at all.
right.
So they're just saying, hey, I can help you with this and then take this medication. But the peer recovery supporter can just be like, hey, man, I know what it's like
Yeah.
to be in those shoes. And, here's how I got out of it. I don't know if it'll work for you because recovery is different for everybody. But um, yeah.
Have you tried or have mixed the Reiki with with such mental health conditions or
No, I'm not. Well, I've experimented with some of my friends, like doing distance Reiki on them, and it has helped with voices and stuff like that they were
okay.
hearing. But yeah, I don't do that like in a professional
Sure.
manner. It was just kind of like somebody it was just kind of experimenting with Reiki, distance Reiki, and seeing if it could help with mental health conditions as well. So, but it
And
did. So I was surprised that it did.
sorry about this light. And so when it comes to the free Reiki sessions, where can people sign up for that, or how can people get in touch with you if they do have interest in that?
Yeah, it's limitlessreiki.com is my website. So that's Limitless is that one movie that came out that I'm really a big fan of. So I
Mm,
decided to name my company after that, Limitless Reiki, and Reiki spelled Reiki. And they could sign up on the website. There's a button there with it says free for cancer warriors. You just click on that. I think you have to put your email in there, and then we can converse after that through email, and then I'll set something up with the person at that point. But yeah, I would love to help out more folks with the distance Reiki.
wonderful. And then do you have a dedicated social media for your Reiki business as well?
I do on Facebook, but not on Instagram yet. Facebook, it's just Limitless Reiki. um, 2 words,
Is
but
it a page or like a group?
it's a page.
A
Yeah,
page?
yeah.
Okay.
I don't have a. I think I've got like maybe 50 followers, so it's not a whole lot, but it's a start, and I hope it blossoms at some point.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I believe we touched on just about all the points. Is
Okay.
there any other, is there anything else that you might want to share or let the audience know about how they can reach you, how they can find you, or how you can help them?
On Instagram, I'm Mark_Colella 47. On Facebook, Mark Colella, or Limitless Reiki. And then obviously YouTube, we got the Cleveland Proper Man, and we have Undiagnosed Shamans. So yeah, that's pretty much all the. I'm on X, but I don't really check it very often or post very often. But I don't know.
Well, I will say, with everything going on, X has been my favorite place to get information. So I would check out X, and with what Elon's doing with Grok, if you have your questions about what's going on. Um, because with the suppression of information, it's sometimes tough to know where you're getting good information from. And
Yeah,
we'll say X has been my absolute favorite. It's kind of off topic, but um, ever since I've gotten into this and the stuff that I'm doing, I'm just being thrown with all sorts of things to look at, all sorts of information, too much information, honestly, good, bad, sad, across the board information. And some of it I just need to really verify. And I've been using X and Grok to verify that information better than the other platforms that I'm used to using. So just wanted to throw that in there. I don't really use my X either, but I use it for my information consumption lately. And I appreciate you as well coming on here and sharing. I appreciate you reaching out. I've had a couple people reach out about the stuff that we're doing, but really not as much as I kind of like. I like to connect with more professionals in the field and more people that are in healthcare, so we can set up stories and conversations just like this one to let people kind of get in on any updates or new stuff that's happening. So, and I really hope through what you're doing that we can get you connected with some people as well, even if it is a quick session or something that will ease their mind, and maybe even possibly help them on a healing side too. That would be fantastic. I know if my aunt was here today, she would try just about anything, and maybe she
yeah,
would able to connect with you. So, but
yeah. There's a lot of folks suffering out there that could use a little assistance with what they're dealing with. So I'm glad I can fill that gap for them, and it doesn't cost them anything as well.
absolutely. And then I'm about to end the call here, but we can stay on and chat a little bit more. And then if you ever need anything, just let me know if there's ways I can help with marketing or whatever you need. Just let me know. I'll see what I can do. Okay.
Okay, thanks, Brandon.
Thanks everybody for tuning in to this session here. We have more stuff coming. We have, we're looking to invite a lot of people in here. We're kind of just taking it as God drops the path. We're just walking it right now. So if any professionals, patients, consumers, doctors, anybody, any companies out there that would like to connect, get their voice heard, send us a DM. You can find us on Coverage with Brandon on Instagram and Facebook, Brandon Repose. I'm pretty much everywhere. LinkedIn, you just search me, you'll find me, and then just let me know what we could do for you. Thanks, everybody.